My name's Luke.
I'm Zack.
And we are your video trainers. And we're about to jump into how to make a creative video. Lovely. So, Zack, creativity.
Creativity.
Define it for me.
Put me on the spot there, Luke. Dreams that you have while awake?
Yeah. Yes. But you could also define creativity as the use of imagination or original ideas to create something.
That sounds better.
I know. Now, the question you're really asking is, what the heck does that mean when it comes to video? Because the reality is, it's very easy to say, hey, we're just going to make a creative video. It's going to be super cool, creative. Let's be creative. But what does that actually translate to? We're going to find out with Andrew, our creative advisor here, a creative strategist. He's creative strategist. Always good at, I'm sorry, Andrew, if you're watching this, I consistently get your title wrong. Creative strategist here in Sydney to tell us a little bit about what to do with creativity in your video and also what not to do.
When it comes to making videos more creative, I can be a bit of a buzzkill. Creativity in corporate video is wonderful. It's fun to do, and it can make your message more engaging, more interesting, and ultimately more effective. But your message is still the most important part of your video. If your message is the cake, the creative way you deliver it is just the icing. Because the creative side of video is fun, sometimes we see people get carried away with the creative aspects, and the message, that important bit, ends up getting buried. Zack, Luke, and I wanted to show you what that looks like. So we took a simple brief to help employees return to the office safely, keeping in mind staying home if they're unwell, social distancing, and hand hygiene, and we let ourselves get carried away with those creative aspects. Here's what happened.
And we are back. So, Zack,
that was cool.
That was very cool. That was a very fun video to make, but there was a little problem with it.
What was the problem, Luke?
It was pointless.
It was
pretty pointless. Not Andrew's video, the video in between, just in case you were wondering. Andrew's video had a really good point, and that point was your message is more important than the creativity you splash onto it. You want to make a memorable message, not just a memorable video.
Memorable videos like trucks passing by. But, well, when we look at that video and ask maybe why it wasn't so great, I mean, it was a great trailer, don't get me wrong, but I didn't really know what on earth it was about until maybe the last 3 seconds, at which point I only had time to read the top line of all those steps.
I know, and at the end of the day, it is really about having a message-driven video, which we can't reiterate more. And that's probably going to be the theme for this, that as we unpack creativity and how to be creative with both your words you choose and the things you hear, such as your music choices as well, but also the visuals you pick, we want to make sure that they complement your message. It's about your message being clear and being memorable. And creativity is just another skill or another tool to help drive that forwards, to help drive your message and make yourself a memorable message. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to jump into a segment. My goodness, I just lost my train of thought. We're going to jump into my segment, the one segment that I'm supposed to remember what to do. And that is going to be 3 things you want to do, or 3 do's around. My goodness, Zack, please fill me in. What we hear. That's it. And
we got there in the end.
This is a little tough. Okay, so what we're doing is 3 things you want to do when we are working with our words. So our first one is, I'm going to do this on you. There you go.
Do you want to read out our first one there, Luke?
I'd love to. So the first thing you want to do is read your script out loud to a friend.
Yeah, so find someone who you actually know. Trying to read your script aloud to a crowded elevator is never really going to work that accurately, and you're going to get some weird looks. A person's reactions are only going to be helpful if you've seen them react to other things. So watch their reactions and listen to their feedback.
It's a good thing. This is especially important for humor. And so when we talk about words, humor is often a big part of it. People want to either include puns or just something a little bit witty and catchy. Awesome, love it. Make sure you tell it to someone. That is so important because it's very easy to write a joke and be like, this joke is hilarious, this is so witty. And then you say it to someone and they do this. Was that it? And then there's an emotional process that you then travel on, which will be our second point in a second, but it is so important to really just speak things out loud to get a sense of, does it land? Does your jokes land? Does your humor land? But also, is it to the point? It could be hilarious, but just totally not to the point at all. So it's really good to have someone who's not very invested in your video, in the sense of they don't love the joke as much as you do, so they can say, yep, that was a good one, or hey, let's workshop things.
Well, you scroll to my second point there. So for bonus points on that one, a person who is less invested in the creative side of a project is going to really help you avoid getting attached to just a single creative idea. That's where you can really get distracted by something that you came up with, so you love, but it drags you away from the objective.
Exactly. So our second point is don't be offended when someone doesn't find your joke funny.
That's a hard one.
It is very hard because humor is one of those things that you pour yourself into, and it is very personal at times. So it is about finding someone you trust and not someone who just laughs at your jokes.
The last thing you want is someone who laughs at everything, because you're not going to have that person in every audience, in every room. For example, I've probably told the same joke at every training session I've ever done. Slightly different ways, slightly different expressions, and 9 out of 10 times it works. But it's that one time that it doesn't that I actually learn the most from.
It's true. Those times that it doesn't work is when you get a chance to workshop things. And workshopping your creativity in the word choice is very important to do. It's not just about throwing some words on a paper and be like, creativity, and then just reading them out and all of a sudden it's amazing. Though that happens occasionally, it's all about workshopping, read it out loud, don't get offended. It's the times where things don't work is a chance for you to learn and grow. Point number 3, Zach.
Do make the tone your own. So tone has a big impact on video and can help control the entire mood of the video. Now, it's not the only way you can do this. For example, you can use pacing and pauses, and you can use inflections to go up for a question and down to make a point.
It's true. The way you speak can either make a serious topic lighthearted, it can make a lighthearted topic serious. So it really gives you a great opportunity to work out what the mood is of your video and then cater your word choice, but then also cater how you say it to match that tone. Love it.
Great.
Now, we have a quick example video. So these are a few snippets of introductions from some training videos that we've done that we wanted, to be a little bit lighthearted, a little bit funny. Personally, I found them funny, but this is my chance to show you and see if you found them as funny as me.
All right, Justin, you've got this, man. They've loved your videos. You're funny, engaging, ruggedly handsome. You can do this. Come on. Audio can make or break your video, so making sure you follow a few key steps is crucial to ensuring that your subject doesn't come off sounding silly. A piece to camera is a lot like eating an orange, because if you don't break it down into small bite-sized pieces, you might get overwhelmed or choke. Too much of a good thing can turn into a bad thing. Except for sweets. And last but certainly not least, make it personal. Instead of presenting to the camera, try having a conversation with it.
So you come here often, or?
And we're back. If you thought that the webinar broke with that last frame, it was a very poor choice of me to put that as the last frame of a video. So we're still here. Hopefully none of you canceled it off because you saw those bars and were like, it's all dead, it's over. But, Zack, did you find it funny?
Yeah. No, I loved the candy part.
That's good. That was actually a very funny joke of mine. I didn't write it. That was my brother Justin, who was starring in that video, but it was a lot of fun to create, and I feel like especially adding humor to your videos can make things really fun to actually film too, so it is a blast. What we're going to do now is jump into a much better video than you just saw with Leighton from the US, all about how to be creative with your visuals.
Take it away, Leighton.
Videos are like ogres.
Big, green, and stupid?
Well, sometimes, but But I'm talking about layers. Videos have layers such as verbal, audible, and visual that adds to its effectiveness. Each layer should bring its own creativity to the table to help communicate your message.
You know, some people say that when a video is done well, you should be able to understand its key message just from the visuals.
That's definitely true. Your visuals should speak, at least to some degree for themselves. That's why Nathan and I filmed this short silent sequence to highlight some of the main visual elements you should be aware of. So Nathan, I think it's pretty clear what we're trying to say here.
Definitely. Being an old-timey newsboy doesn't pay what it used to.
What? No, it was to show how confusing it can be if your environment, outfit, composition, text on screen, or really just your visuals overall don't line up with your message. Everything you can see on screen has the power to add or detract from your video's purpose. If you can keep your audience curious or entertained and not confused, it's likely they'll be more receptive to what you're trying to say.
A good example of this happened a little while back when we were tasked with creating a video describing what our editing team can do for our clients when they partner with us here at Shootsta. At first, we decided to do the most obvious, kind of boring approach, a talking headpiece to camera.
I feel like that line's weird, but I'm gonna keep going. Start from the beginning, yeah.
We don't have any humor.
No, we're not funny.
This just wasn't working for us. We quickly realized that we could be getting this video's message across in a much more creative way. So we went back to the drawing board and came up with something a little more entertaining while still delivering on the video's purpose. Roll clip. Hi, my name's Nathan Luber, and I'm the production manager here at Shootsta in the US, and I help our talented team of editors work their magic across the hundreds of videos we produce each month. We hire creatives with years of experience and expertise in the industry, and it also doesn't hurt for them to have a good sense of humor.
So I tell them, that's not a video, that's my grandma.
When you join the Shootsta family, you get access to a dedicated team of editors that are here to help bring your stories to life. It's alive! It's alive! When our team isn't at work, they can be found off creating content of their own. So below are some examples of exactly what they create in their downtime. I hope these examples leave you inspired and excited to create something new with your team here at Shootsta. What do you think? Was that good?
Yeah! Can you take that suit off now?
I love that video, Nathan.
Zack.
I loved the Shrek joke, to be honest.
It was very good. The jacket's also quite nice.
I want the pants. Where do I get those?
If you know where to get those, and
Message me
let us,
directly.
yeah. Comments. Put it in the comments. There were so many wonderful things that Leighton unpacked about visuals, and really visuals, like creativity, it's like they all just reinforce your message. This is super important and something I'm just gonna drill home again and again. Message, creativity on top. And those visuals, those creative visuals will really help sell your message.
Yeah, it was back to Andrew's cake analogy, right? That was a nice cake with a nice bit of icing there compared to ours, which was a tiny bit of cake with a lot of icing.
A lot of icing. And if you have ever eaten a bowl of icing and a tiny bit of cake,
yeah, I have.
You feel sick. And that's not what you want people to feel when they watch your video. So, cake, little bit of icing. Another thing with those visuals, it is very important for you to plan those visuals well. Now we have a few questions already about it. We will answer those questions momentarily after we watch, I do believe, one other video about creativity. But something I will touch on is when it comes to being creative with your visuals, think big, get inspired. It's really good to watch other videos, perhaps jump on YouTube. Even you can pull from Hollywood films. I'm not recommending that you actually do it, but just getting inspiration for the types of shots people use, the types of visual movement, as we saw with Nathan. Sorry, I totally forgot your name for a second. As we saw with Nathan making that great walkthrough video, he was inspired. There's videos like Dollar Shave Club and a lot of those things that have inspired that walkthrough movement with visual gags around it, and it was a really good thing. Be inspired, find visuals you like, and maybe you can execute it. Maybe you can take a little bit of something to add it to your video, but it's a great way of, yeah, having a lot of fun. Now, what we're gonna do is watch a second video.
Cool.
Technically, actually a third video, because mine counted as the first. Our third video is all about how to be creative with your sound, and this is from Gary himself.
The audio portion of videos can be a tricky subject to explain. On one hand, it's obvious you need some sort of audio component, but on the other hand, how do you know which one will work best for your videos? See, audio has a special way of making you feel something. Done correctly, and it usually goes unnoticed. When it isn't done correctly, it can feel jarring or just plain weird.
Let's go, let's go!
It just doesn't feel right. So this is how you want to think about audio creatively for your next project. First, what's your objective and your key message? Got it? Great. Now think about the tone of the music that will help emphasize that point. Think about adjective words to help summarize this feeling you're trying to create. Uplifting. Happy. Serious. Peaceful. Groovy, perhaps. You can choose one or multiple tracks to support different parts of your video. To create these feelings, depending on how you craft your story, you might choose to start with one and end with a completely different note to get your point across. This creates better dynamics to your overall video and helps audiences understand the feeling they should have as they're watching the video. This is another layer of creativity in videos that viewers just usually are not aware of. Here is an interesting compilation of some ads that have chosen almost the exact same tone of music to start off their videos and how they ended with a completely different tone, but almost identical to one another. Check it out.
We're people.
People.
People. People. Family.
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 See, somber music made a lot of sense about a month ago, but now it's a little bit overdone and it's getting a bit repetitive. So try to mix up your audio choices and your story if you are building any COVID-related content. Creativity is all about choices, and as long as you know why you're making those choices, I believe that's part of being creative, in my opinion. So, now that you understand why music plays a big part in crafting a more creative video, let me show you how you're going to find these audio options. Go to Google and search royalty-free music. From there, you'll get a list of the top 5 royalty-free music libraries. Then, take a look at their filter settings. They'll usually have categories ranging from mood, video theme, genre, instruments for you to choose from. Mix and match the options you're looking for and let the filter do its thing. Next, play through the samples offered. You'll discover that there are many options that fit your intended mood, but some might feel better than others. So spend some time and listen to a good range of them and take note of the ones you like best. If you're already a client of ours, you can also brief us on the rough adjective words describing the tone you're after, and our editors will find something they feel suitable for your video. But I do hope you take the time to personally have a go at it yourself so you can take more creative control over your project and in the long run practice at being a better creative. Looks like I'm about out of time here. So Luke, back to you, buddy.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. I was really hoping for a beatbox tutorial when you said audio tips.